mighty paladin swordsman. Lu, the finest shooter. Ekne, a solitary magician. Morpus, a warrior of martial arts. Gaza.
It's March 29th, 2010, almost a year after the release of Zenonia 1, which got raving reviews, with outlets like Nintendo Life calling it an incredibly impressive game with a lot to offer its players. Zenonia 2 is a classic. I love how this game starts with this back and forth between Regrets and Ladon. Such a great start to this game. Zenonia 2 is a massively underrated game. Even in its own franchise, it's like the middle child. Everyone always remembers the first and the last one. And when you hear conversations about Zenonia, it's always about 3. I mean, fair enough, 3 is a really good game. And it's probably the best in the Zenonia series, no question about that. And people may be like, what is so special about this mobile game?
I was going to put him foot.
And let me just tell you that back in the day, mobile devices were actually competing with handheld gaming devices. After Ladon was sealed away by Regrets, the city of Leo was rebuilt and named Deva Castle. However, after this, the world became full of greed and evil, and the world fell into darkness another time. In order to purify the world, leaves fell from the Tree of Life, and as they fell, people began to lose their memories. Now, the Tree of Life is like the great creator who turned himself into a tree. I don't remember why he did that, but it was important, I think. I know Zavkill, this Archmage, manages to convince Amos to set them free, and proclaims that they are the chosen heroes that would find the gems and save Zenonia, and everyone's memories gets recovered basically. And when they find these gems, they get whatever they want. They can wish for whatever they want. And the wishes are really very selfless. Lu wishes to bring his grandfather back because he was arrested when he was a kid. So Lu had to steal food to survive. And Lu was 12. Lu was a 12-year-old kid that got arrested for stealing food, which is pretty messed up if you think about it. And Dazar is discriminated against, and he wants to just be accepted by everyone in despite of his different appearance. And then Morpheus wants to become stronger. Yeah. The plot of Zenonia 2 is interesting because I consider it personally weaker than the Zenonia 1, Zenonia 3, and Zenonia 4 plots. Mostly because you're following people who you've never met and who have not really any connection to the main character of the story of Regrets. And I felt like the main villain was the worst in the series probably. I didn't like him. He just came out of nowhere, to be fair. And I don't really know. I mean, they introduced why he came there, but it was kind of goofy. Not saying that the plot of Zenonia 2 is bad, but just comparatively to the other games, it's just weaker. In my opinion, it's still a great plot, still a great story to experience, and I still recommend playing the game. The promotional material for this game, the artwork in general, was just so much better than the first game. I think it's even better than Zenonia 3, honestly. All the character designs were top notch. You know, he had a really high level of clarity to them. Lou actually looks like a kid compared to the others, for example, and he has childlike expressions. The sprites were also better as well as the enemy sprites. To summarize it, it looks like a game that will be released today. Unlike Zenonia 3, how do you even go backwards? Is this really the design you gave the main character of Zenonia 3, of your game? The main character of the game. That is the character design you chose to go with. I am like flabbergasted. Bro is flabbergasted. Some of the sprites don't even match the bust image. It doesn't even match at all, bruh. And Frey and Celine, I know they're the same person, but you can't just do that. You can't just reuse the fucking bust image, bro. You can't.
You can't do that.
Pull up on your girl in a Ford Escape. Pull up on your girl in a Chevy Ford. Pull up on your girl in the Trailblazer. Pull up in a Ford Focus. Pull up in a Ford.
So why did I call Zenonia a perfect sequel? It is because it's just largely the same game, but they made everything better. In Zenonia 1, there was this dumb hunger system, which is really stupid, but in Zenonia 2, it's still there, but it's just so much more manageable. It's not annoying as the first one. You know, the controls feel really good to play, and the touch system is really nice. The battle system is clean, and you know, it's very fun to play Zenonia 2. Whereas in Zenonia 1, it wasn't really fun. The battle system was a bit clunky. You know, everything feels faster paced, especially if we play Daza and Ekne. And you know, Lou is probably good too. I mean, if you play more pace, I'm so sorry. While Zenonia 2 is a massive improvement over Zenonia 1, there's still some issues. The music in this game is It's honestly, the music in every Zenonia game is always meh. I'm not saying there aren't a few bangers, I just wish they were longer. These two songs could have been absolute bangers if they went on just for a minute longer, and I honestly think we were robbed. We were robbed of something. And you know, this isn't unique to Zenonia 2. All the Zenonia games have the same issue, and it's really a big shame. My guess they weren't longer is because they wanted the size of the game to be small, and you know, that's a good reason, because when I was a kid and when I downloaded this game, I had very limited bandwidth, and you know, this was the small download size was one of the reasons I actually give this game a try. So I guess that's a good reason, but it's still a shame. And I feel like they didn't really care about the music, which is it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I don't think games are gonna change their mind soon, because no one has ever complained about the music. It's because it's a weird thing to complain about, to be fair. Not saying it's not a valid thing to be complaining about, but like, why would you complain about the music in an Android video game? Hard mode. Hard mode is a very interesting concept, really not, because the games that do have it are actually better, at least to play. Zenonia 2, 3, and 4 all have hard mode, and they're all the best. They're the best Zenonia franchise has to offer. But you have Zenonia 1 and 5 who don't offer this mode, and that's a good thing in my opinion, but they are the worst games in the franchise. Now, to be fair, it's bullshit that you have to replay the game a second time in order to get the true ending. Also, the mobs in this game are annoying as hell to get through. Usually when you're playing hard mode, you just speed run through them. You don't even fucking try and fight them, because they're above you, and they can one-shot you if you're not careful. Another problem I had with Zenonia 2 was that it's no longer a problem thanks to the Zenonia community. Was that Gameville thought this was a really smart and funny thing to do, to just remove the best Zenonia games from the App Store, you know, and Zenonia 1. And as a kid, I had to play Inertia 4. And I was planning on making a video on why this game isn't Zenonia, but I decided I didn't want to continue playing a game I did not like playing. So, the person, I just don't like it. The plot is kind of cringe. It doesn't have the same charm that Zenonia had. The protagonists are kind of edgy in a bad way. And, at least the Zenonia protagonists have some kind of charm. Probably the most major issue about this game is how they handled battles and the cutscenes. Because if you played this game, your teammates feel useless as hell. They legitimately only help you once, and I won't even consider that a help because technically you already defeated him and they were just finishing up the job. And you won in the boss battle, but you don't win the cutscene, that type of shit. And I honestly don't know why they made it this way. They could have any other way would have been better, but And if I were in charge of Zenonia, I would have just made them fight. But what they're fighting won't actually make a difference, I guess. I would just they'll just fight, but they won't really make a difference. And they have the AI for this to work. They already made an AI for Zenonia 2 online, and they chose to just write them out of the battle somehow. We couldn't get there because we were a bit late, and it's so awkward. It's so noticeable. At least for me, it was so odd. What an odd decision. I don't know why you did this. I don't know, Gameville. Do you need help? Do you need to hire writers or something? Jesus. Now, why is Zenonia 2 a classic? What even is a classic? Now, I don't know what the fuck a classic is, but Zenonia 2 is a damn good game. Whoever made the title screen art, with just the logo and the dark clouds surrounding the logo, surrounding that 2 there, and the music deserves a raise. It really gets you in the game before the game even starts. I love that it's done on a piano, and it gets you in that sad, really immerses you in that sad and bleak atmosphere the people probably were feeling. They had lost their precious memories. People they once knew have changed into a different person because of that. Some people even forgot they had kids, and some kids forgot they had parents. So it's really a sad time at that point, and I like that. I like how it was done. I've seen the alternative title screen art, and I'm pretty sure they wanted to go with that, but I'm glad they didn't, and then they changed it. I prefer the newer one rather than the older one. Definitely, it just makes Zenonia 2 feel more unique out of all of them, because all of them all have that same style, and Zenonia 2 doesn't have that same style. I liked that they did that. One thing that Zenonia 2 really excels at is that the characters feel diverse, and none of them even play remotely similar. And it's been like that since Zenonia 2. All the character classes since Zenonia 2 always feel different. It always feels like you're playing another character, which is something I thoroughly enjoy. They're not only different gameplay wise, but I love that Gameville made them different character wise, and how there are little differences throughout the game if you play each character. Really shows Gameville's attention to detail in this title, and we never get to see something like this until Zenonia S. But we don't talk about Zenonia S. The game was also critically acclaimed. He got a lot of good reviews, and mostly people enjoyed the game. And they made a sequel because of that, and they kept a lot of these elements in Zenonia 3, which is arguably the best Zenonia game at the moment. Now I wanted to talk about the themes of discrimination present in the first trilogy of Zenonia games, like in Zenonia 1 with Regret, Zenonia 2 with Daza, and Zenonia 3 with Child, but I will talk about that in a later video. In conclusion, don't play this game. If you are to take away something from this video, don't play No Shift 4.